Fine. Let's pray together. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, friend, beloved God, beloved Gurus, Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Lahiri Mahashai, Swami Sri Yukteswar Ji, our beloved Guru, Paramhans Yogananda Ji, saints of all religions, our friend and guide Swami Kriyananda Ji, we humbly bow before you all. O great masters, we thank you for your presence in our lives. The teachings of freedom you have brought us, and your divine grace. Bless us in our daily efforts, that we may choose thee, thy ways, thy freedom, and help us serve as instruments for those blessings to all our brothers and sisters. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Please be seated. So we'll sing two songs today. One is Door of My Heart. I believe it was certainly one of, if not the favorite, one of Master's favorite chants. And the other is I Want Only Thee, Lord, Thee, Only Thee. Today's topic is a very interesting one. Often I've joked with friends, we have 52 weeks. Forgive me. Call was Actually, it's very interesting. The topic is, does Satan exist? And it's very interesting. We'll, of course, go in the details. Swami says he's the spoiler, or call it Maya. And just when you're starting a satsang, a call comes. Or this morning, I'm hosting our wonderful friend Alok, and I was making him this breakfast. And I said, how would you like it? And everything. And just at the last minute, one particular product was not being delivered. So I got on the call and suddenly I smell something is burning. And like just when you think things are going to go well, something goes off. But the good news is, yes, of course, we'll go in that detail. Does Satan exist? But Swami says, how do you not be influenced by him? And the simple answer is to use your divine will to choose God. I want thee. I want thy ways. I want thy teachings. I want thy company. So especially, I'm sharing this little introduction because for this song, looking into the eyes of the masters or in your heart calling to God's presence, sing that chant, especially both these chants with that thought that, Master God, I want you only. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Om. Om. Door of my heart, open wide I keep for thee. Door of my heart, open wide I keep for thee. wilt thou come? Wilt thou come just for once? Come to me. Wilt thou come? Wilt thou come just for once? Come to me. Will my days fly away without seeing thee, my Lord? Will my days fly away without seeing thee, my Lord? Night and day, I look for thee, night and day, night and day, I look for thee, night and day. Door of my heart, open wide I keep for thee. Door of my heart, open wide I keep for thee. Wilt thou come? Wilt thou come? Just for once come to me. Wilt thou come? Wilt thou come? Just for once come to me. Will my days fly away without seeing thee, my Lord? Will my days fly away without seeing thee, my Lord? Night and day, I look for thee, night and day, night and day, I look for thee, night and day. Door of my heart, open wide I keep for thee. Door of my heart, open wide I keep for thee. Wilt thou come? Wilt thou come? Just for once come to me. Wilt thou come? Wilt thou come? Just for once come to me. Will my days fly away without seeing thee, my Lord? Will my days fly away without seeing thee, my Lord? Night and day, I look for thee, night and day, night and day, I look for thee, night and day. Door of my heart, open wide I keep for thee. Door of my heart, open wide I keep for thee. Wilt thou come? Wilt thou come? Just for once come to me. Wilt thou come? Wilt thou come? Just for once come to me. Will my days fly away without seeing thee, my Lord? Will my days fly away without seeing thee, my Lord? Night and day, I look for thee, night and day, night and day, I look for thee, night and day. Door of my heart, open wide I keep for thee. Door of my heart, open wide I keep for thee. Wilt thou come? Wilt thou come? Just for once come to me. Wilt thou come? Wilt thou come? Just for once come to me. Will my days fly away without seeing thee, my Lord? Will my days fly away without seeing thee, my Lord? Night and day, I look for thee, night and day, night and day, I look for thee, night and day, night and day, I look for thee, night and day, Night and day, night and day, I look for thee night and day. Let's dim the lights now. I want only thee, Lord, thee, only thee. 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 I want want only thee, Lord, thee, only thee. I 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 want only thee, Lord, thee, only thee, thee. Sitting upright now, away from the back of the chair, feeling this flow of devotion from within the spine, from the heart, from inside out, keeping the spine straight, uplifted and relaxed, light. Gently now, let's lift our gaze behind closed eyelids, calling to God and the Gurus at the spiritual eye, also offering this devotion running up the spine to the spiritual eye, offering it at the spiritual eye. Let's meditate for about 12 minutes. Inwardly calling to the Gurus and to God. Reveal thyself. Reveal thyself to come in this temple, to come to each one of us. Continuing to remain inward, let us listen to the affirmation of this week on generosity by Swami Kriyanandaji. Swamiji writes, most people think of generosity as merely the giving of material benefits to others. More important, however, and much more satisfying is a generous spirit, a willingness to let the other person shine, even if it means being eclipsed oneself. A happiness in his good fortune, even if it means personal loss for oneself. A concern for his safety, even if in an accident one's own property has been destroyed. Generosity means, above all, recognizing that everything we have and are belongs to God alone and is His to dispose of where He will. Let us affirm together, loudly at first. I am happy in the good fortune of all, even more than in my own. For in my happiness for them lies inner freedom. Now in a normal voice, I am happy in the good fortune of all, even more than in my own. For in my happiness for them lies inner freedom. Now whispering, I am happy in the good fortune of all, even more than in my own. For in my happiness for them lies inner freedom. Now silently, to change our subconscious mind, I am happy in the good fortune of all, even more than in my own. For in my happiness for them lies inner freedom. One last time, silently, with deep focus at the spiritual eye, making this our superconscious living reality. I am happy in the good fortune of all, even more than in my own. For in my happiness for them lies inner freedom. And mentally, let us offer this prayer. All that I have and am is thine. Divine Mother, dispose of it as thou wilt. Om Shanti. We will of the week.
Thank you. So the reading today is from Rays of the One Light, Weekly Commentaries on the Bible and the Bhagavad Gita by Swami Kriyananda. As Aditya ji said, today's topic, does Satan exist? Truth is one and eternal. Realize oneness with it in your deathless self within. The following commentary is based on the teachings of Paramhans Yogananda. The Bible tells us in chapter 4 of the Gospel of St. Matthew, then, after baptism, was Jesus led up of the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. To most modern minds, this passage seems quaintly obsolete. Psychologists would say, have said, in fact, that the temptation of Jesus, if it occurred at all, was purely psychological. They call it a projection of desires lurking in his own subconscious mind. The subconscious plays a strong part, certainly, even if not a unique one, in any testing the spiritual seeker must undergo. The Bhagavad Gita, in dealing with this undeniable reality, quotes Arjuna in the third chapter, and then Sri Krishna's reply. Yet tell me, teacher, said Arjuna, by what force doth man go to his ill, unwilling, as if one pushed him in that path? Krishna replied, desire it is, passion it is, born of the darkness, which pusheth him, mighty of appetite, sinful and strong is this, man's enemy. Yet even Krishna describes passion as born out of darkness. The fact is, as Paramahansa Yogananda wrote in the autobiography of Yogi, all thoughts vibrate eternally in the cosmos. Thoughts are universally and not individually rooted. A truth cannot be created, but only perceived. Psychology, yes, but psychology attuned to currents of consciousness that pervade the entire universe, attracted by each of us according to our own personal inclinations. Yogananda, quoted in The Path, said, I used to think Satan was only a human invention, but now I know and add my testimony to that of others who lived before me that Satan is a reality. He is a universal conscious force whose sole aim is to keep all things bound to the wheel of delusion. We should take pains, then, to attract uplifting currents of universal consciousness and to avoid attracting the negative, which, disease that it is, can infect our thoughts, even while it leads us to believe that our thoughts are purely our own. Thus, through Holy Scripture, God has spoken to mankind. Om.
Good evening once again, everyone. It's just so wonderful to see satsang after satsang. It's actually an experience of, as Swamiji said, when you find God, he said, all the saints who have found him, not one has said that, as Swami said, it was a sham, or well, it was okay, or yes, it was good for a while. Actually, the one thing, irrespective of the religion and the times they were in, they say is it was absolutely worth it. And then Kriyanandaji would add, the closer they actually got to God realization, and of course, those who were fully realized saints, they, as we will see, they go through, don't have to necessarily, but as Swami said, and as Avinash was reading, he said, take those pains to tune into those uplifting streams of consciousness that there is, we all have experienced, there's a reality, and you wish it came to you on a couch or in the bed. Like, somebody said, has anybody become a saint sleeping? You go to sleep and you wake up and you suddenly find out, hey, I became God realized. I don't know. I've at least not read about it. Maybe somebody had that remaining karma that it was burnt off in that last sattvic night of sleeping. But otherwise, what we see in our own lives, and especially in the lives of the saints in the scriptures unanimously, is that there was an effort, there was the will that had to be applied, there was a self offering that had to be made. But at the end of it, Swami said that when the saints find him, they say, even 100-fold more of suffering is worth it. And then among those saints, there are some who we call the avatars, especially, who come back from the kingdom of God, having become one with Him, knowing Him. They come with His full power to show us, and our line of gurus were a line of avatars. They came to show that you too can experience what the other saints have said and what we are saying. So it is, as Avinash was reading, it is a reality. Master said, I used to think it's only an imagination, but he said, no, it's true. In modern times, and this is a question, as Swami also said, that in modern times we live in a time of research. Every year, new phone, iPhone coming out. Old is not good. Old didn't really know what this one knows, this one has. And to some of the great spiritual leaders, people have asked this question, even though the scriptures do say Satan exists. They've asked a question, and I'm now going to quote Saint Padre Pio. He was a great saint of modern times, Yogananda ji, Swami Kriyananda ji, Pope John Paul II, and then Pope Francis, who passed away recently. That people asked them when they asked him this question that, uh, is Satan still there around? Because, we think of him like we think of God in the form of an image. And God does take an image. Master said, ultimately, when you find him, he comes to each person, each devotee. That's a special favor he does. He comes to us in that form in which we have idolized him. And sometimes that's the case with Satan too. He does come in a form, and because he came to some people in a form, many people think of him only as a form, and they're like, oh, that form has not been seen of late. It has been described earlier, but is it true? And when this question was posed to these great souls, the one common answer they gave was that, oh, yes, he absolutely, he's part of creation. And I'll explain that, how Master puts it. But they said his greatest trick in modern times, call him Satan, call him Maya, the devil, evil, whatever it is, the greatest trick of Satan in modern times is he has convinced people that he simply doesn't exist. So if you ask somebody, another term for him is Satan comes or is similar to at least the word shaitan. And if you ask somebody, do you believe in Satan? Have you in the devil? They'll say, come on, get over it. These are old beliefs. They used to say these things just to keep people in check. But Master added his testimony, and this is what these great souls have said. Swami Kriyanandaji said once he had a dream. He was living in the same building as Yoganandaji at Mount Washington. He was in the men's monastery. And at night, he had this dream that he's in a party and it's a big house. He's talking to people, conversing with them. And at one point, this thought came to him, okay, enough of socializing. It's time to see what this darkness is all about. It's time to face him. And so he walked away in the dream into a room where there was nothing, but there was an open window outside of which there was complete darkness. And Swami stood in the center of the room, looked at this window, and he said, okay, come out. And Swami says, then there was no voice came, but he felt a disturbance, and then he felt an aberration of Om. There was this vibration which was not at all pleasant, very unpleasant. And suddenly it pulled him outside the window, was pulling him. And he was helpless. He couldn't do anything about it. And in that moment, he said, Master! And that force ended. And Swami woke up and he was like, what was that? And so, he meditated some, went back to sleep. And the next day he met Yoganandaji. But before he met him, a monk came up to him. He said, Walter, yesterday night, the strangest thing happened. He said, I was sleeping and somebody was hammering my door, banging on the door. And this strange voice said, and this, because it was such a loud banging, this monk said, oh, who is it? Who is it? And this voice said, is it James Donald Walters? And this man said, no, I'm Gene Hopt. And he said, I'm looking for James Donald Walters. And he said, with heavy steps, whatever this thing was, he certainly didn't open the door. It walked away. And Swami asked him, what time did this happen? He said, oh, I woke up and it was that time. And Swami said, that's when he had this dream. So he went to Master. And he said, Master, what was all this? And Master said, oh, these things happen on the spiritual path. Don't think too much about it. But later he explained to him, he said, when God created, when he, the one, became everything, when he projected this consciousness out of him, he said there had to be a duality. And he said, in this duality, on one side, we see the lives of the saints, or saintliness, or goodness in this world, beauty, astral beauty, beauty of colors, music, human nobility, acts of kindness and charity and harmony and so much. You just go to a place like you see the ancient temples of India or the pyramids. And where did that symmetry come from? In deep meditation, it can be experienced in ourselves. So, on one side, you see this perfect picture where everything is going well. Look at the life of Yogananda ji. There were challenges, but he overcame them all. He knew everything. On the other side, Master himself writes in great detail. He said, look at the world wars, look at the famines, floods, starvation, people's behavior. Swami would say, look at cannibalism. And you wonder, how can human beings do this? How can anything do it? Where does this come from? And Master says, if you think a little deeply, this voice inside will tell you, yes, as terrible as it is, it is a dream. Wake up. Like during World War One, Master said he was fighting with Divine Mother. He said, what's happening? And Divine Mother said to him, there's no life, there's no death. This is just a dream. I am the only reality. This is light and shadows coming out of me. I'm projecting it. You are part of the play. And he said, what do we do? She said, wake up. And Master said, well, I can wake up, but everyone else, my brothers and sisters, are howling, Mother. They are afraid. They are dying. And she said, that's why I have sent you. Remind them. This is that I have created time, I have created space, I have become everybody. And so Master explains that when creation was created, within creation there is the positive side, and that's called sattvic life. That's a uplifted. When I came up here, just seeing so many people for a satsang, for truth, for joy, the light that is coming out through you. That's like, where is Satan? But he does exist. Master said he exists on two levels. One is objective because he's a part of creation, just like we said, there is beauty on one side. On the other side, Master says everything that disturbs things, or as Swami would say, he said, if you're sitting on a couch, now that is already a little bit of, as he said, a satanic pull, not just being on the couch, but always being on the couch, let us say. That is tamasic. That's not helping. In the caste system, we call it a Shudra consciousness, that people say, oh, I'll do nothing and I'll be so happy. And Swami says that doesn't really work in the long run. You don't come out a saint, as we were discussing in the beginning. But then Swami said, as you slowly start putting out some energy, as you put out your will, as you say, I'm not really happy in this state of mind, then you realize that inside each one of us, there is that subjective power to be happy or to create misery. And similarly, Master said it's not just subjective, it is objective, that in creation, there are things that disturb the harmony. Swami would say that, especially before an important event, when you're especially trying to create divine light, when you do nothing, Satan does nothing. That's why most people say, which Satan? What Satan? I have not seen him. I don't think he exists. Well, talk to the saints if you want to know about him. Again, Padre Pio saw him. Saint Francis of Assisi saw him. Master said when he would come back to his room because he was trying to do God's work, he said, I would lay down on my bed and I could see them working on my knees with all sorts of weapons, saw, knife, corkscrew, and whatnot. And Swami said when Master was describing those things, he had difficulty walking and he had challenges. Swami would tell us sometimes, he said, I was trying to do this thought. I had this divine inspiration, but then I had a self-doubt, or early on when, Master said he had those doubts, or he would face some challenge, some health challenge, or somebody says they're going to do something and they don't do it the last minute. And Master says this is Satan at work because he does not want the light to come. Now, you may say, why did God create him in the first place? If he would not have been created, there's a beautiful story in the Srimad Bhagavatam that some sadhus, their meditation is being disturbed. So what do? They called upon Krishna and Arjuna, and they said, "Can you please come and rid this forest of these demons?" And they said, "Okay." And they said, "We'll give you some blessings." They said, "Okay." So they come, the demons are there, they start fighting. Krishna says, "You deal with these few, I'll deal with these ones," and they start killing them. And when Arjuna's work is done, Krishna also walks away from where he was fighting. And Arjuna looks relieved. And then he sees from behind Krishna's shoulder, there is one demon which Krishna spared. Now, Krishna knows everything. Why would he spare that? And he says, "My lord, there's one you left. He's escaping." And he said, "What?" He says, "There's one demon. He's running." And now the demon has heard that they have found him out. So instead of running away, he takes a U-turn and starts running towards Krishna. And Krishna says, What are you saying? I can't hear you." He says, "There is this demon running towards you. Kill him. Or do you want me to kill him?" And by this time, the demon has reached Krishna's feet. He falls there. He says, "I have reached the feet of the Lord, where all refuge is found. Please spare my life." And Krishna says, "Oh, Arjuna, now he's asked to be spared. I can't kill him now." And Arjuna is like, "Can you explain this to me?" And then Krishna gets up. He says, "What's your name?" He says, I go by the name Maya." He says, "Okay, create a kingdom for the Pandavas where they can enjoy, their life, and make sure the palaces are better than the Kauravas and everything, anything that people have seen." And then he gives them a few other projects and he says, "Thank you." And he leaves. And basically, the moral of the story is that God, it all came out of him. Many times when darkness increases, it does seem like it has gone out of hand. We ask the question, where is God? What is happening? What shall we do? But what Krishna was telling, what Christ is telling over here, what Swami, what all the great saints said, is that recognize. Swami said, even respect Satan, not for anything he's done, except he's testing you. He's testing your resolve. Each time we feel, well, now I've overcome this quality, don't boast about it, certainly. Right there is Satan. He's so subtle. But he comes to see that, "I want only thee, Lord, or is there something else you want?" He comes in the form of ego. He comes in the form of pride. He comes in the form of anger. He comes in the form of confusion, distortion, indifference of so many things. And Swami says, if you go in that direction, Swami says, about drunkenness. He said, people drink so much. Why? They say, I was doing a corporate workshop one time and I said, about stress management. I said, alcohol does not solve your stress. I mean, it was a 1 hour workshop. I was sharing different things that work and don't work. And the moment I said, alcohol doesn't solve stress, one man said, I object. How can you say that? Whenever I have stress, I take alcohol. And I said, how do you feel after that? He said, wonderful. I feel relaxed and stress free. I said, how do you feel a few hours afterwards or the next morning? He said, I get a hangover. And I said, most importantly, what happens to the cause of the stress? Does that go away with alcohol? He says, no. And of course, now we know with alcohol, our brain slowly becomes weak, brain cells go down. Yogananda ji said the will goes away. So, in so many different ways in creation, this tendency to escape from reality or to affirm the ego, neither of those two things work. And Swami says, what works then? How do we come out of it? If it is in duality, if it is in everything, it can influence us. First of all, Swami said, when you suffer, ask yourself, where do I feel joy? Swami says, try to see God as the doer. Talk to him, ask for his help, meditate. Recently in an interview, somebody was asking me about death and fear of death. And they said, do you have any personal story about it? And it reminded me of a time I was doing an ashram work, out in not outside of Pune, at the port in Mumbai. And long story short, it was a full day's work. I finished it. I was by myself. And at the end, this company, which had to help us and give us a certain product, which was quite expensive, they said, okay, your product is ready. I said, thank you. The truck was here. I said, let's unload it and we'll take it. And the person said, well, what about us? I said, what do you mean? I've paid you. He said, no, about us. And I said, what is us? What is this extra fee? They said, oh, then this owner took me aside. He said, oh, this place is operated by a gang and, They need a certain amount of money. I said, oh, no, this is ashram money. And, you didn't tell me about this. So I said, I'm not paying anybody. And he said, sir, don't mess with these people. They are actual gangsters. They carry guns and all. And I said, no, I don't think I'm going to do this. So he said, okay, stop the train, no movement. And then these people called somebody, the kingpin, and he said, okay, I'm coming. And this guy then got serious. He said, sir, you better leave. Please, really, this will be really bad. And in that moment, I remember that because that's when I shared the story, I asked myself, I said, oh, maybe I'm going to die here today. But the other thing was, I said, the body will die. But one or two meditative experiences I had was, I am peace. I am the divine light. That is the reality. And Master said in meditation, when you experience that, that is true intuitively. And everything outside is like Divine Mother said, it's light and shadows. It comes, it goes. And so I stood my ground. This person came and they all got together and they did what they did. But, and then he said, let him go. And so everything was given to me and I came on way. But for hours, I felt so much joy, so much bliss. And I thought, this is so interesting. Somebody beats you up and you feel joy. But it's like there is darkness in this world, but beyond a certain point, it has no sway, no power. And it creates its own suffering. Maybe it was my karma to go through that experience from past. But I remember a few months later, because there were a lot of people watching this, and the owner of the company, his assistant with whom I was working, this person called me some months later. He said, sir, I'm now in Pune. I said, what are you doing? He said, that company shut down. That gangster did something else. The police took him. He's behind bars. And really, I felt so bad for him. I said, why do people do this? Why? Why do we have to live like this? Why can't we just, like Swami said, why can't we be loving, cooperative, kind? Master said, you're creating misery. So Master said, through meditation, through your discrimination, try to see what are the things that bring me freedom, and then move in that direction. Choose those things and choose the small things. Once you accomplish them, then choose another project over there. The other thing Swami says is try to live in the upper three chakras. We know in the spine, what is this? The spiritual eye. Here resides the ego. And in the beginning, it seems good to inflate the ego. Let's talk about me. Or, what I did. What idea I had. Who my father is. And Swami says, you reach a point. Master called it the crushing weight of the universe. That ego, which seemed wonderful to blow and expand, it seems so terrible. It becomes so big that ultimately, Master said, it starts crushing you under that weight. And when you suffer with that, then Master says you want to offer it. You say, Lord, I didn't do it. And Swami was a genius at that. Before an important event, he prepared very deeply, intensely. During the event, he was a channel for God and gurus. After the event, he would say, my guru did it through me. And then right after the event, he would often take what he called a vacation with Divine Mother. He said, I'm going for a few days to celebrate with Divine Mother. And it's a very practical thing to do, that do your work, because before you do an important work, especially for good in this world, for God especially, a force will test you. So be prepared, be diligent, be an active instrument, see God as the doer. And right after you do it, that force can still influence us. So end it on a high note. That Mother, thank you for inspiring me, or Guru, God, thank you for doing this through me. I want to live in your consciousness. And bit by bit, we see that Satan, which we don't have to be afraid of. Swami said, respect him. He has a big sway. He keeps us all over here in delusion. But don't be afraid of him. When you know his ways, then you bit by bit see how to loosen that grip and you come out of it. So I want to close by reading these two lines by Yogananda ji. Master writes, remember, every time you are tempted to do wrong, it is not your subjective mind alone which is tempting you, but also objective Satan, and recognizing this, refuse to cooperate with him, thereby being destroyed. Then he also writes, remember, the conscious evil force of Satan could not influence human minds if they did not allow it. It is therefore better to know all the lures of evil and the ways to combat them than to blindly deny their existence. Knowledge only, not indifference, can produce final emancipation from the lures of Satan. And finally, I'll close with a thought or two about, does he just, or now let's not think of him, he or she, as a personality so much, even though, like I said, like God is formless, it's a force, Master, it's a conscious force. But, it influences us. One time, Swami Kriyanandaji was in a mood, and Master said to him, no more moods, Walter. Otherwise, how will you help others? He said, when I see, and he said this to everybody, he said, when I see that you're in a mood, I see that Satan has a hold of you. And he said, I suffer when I see that. So, how do we come out of a mood? Kriyanandaji said, chant, open your heart, serve, express willingness. Kriyanandaji said, unwillingness to face life is satanic. He said, express that enthusiasm, that willingness. Focus at the point between the two eyebrows. That is where Swami said, he said, once I learned how to overcome moods, he said it would take me 5 minutes. I would focus at the point between the two eyebrows and again drive moods away. And finally, there was a time where one by one people were leaving the organization, Yoganandaji's organization. Imagine, he was right there in the building and people were confused. And Swami, whose heart went out to help people, he was approaching Master for different ones. Will you please talk to him? Or he's not, he's again depressed, he's confused. And this man, Gene hopped, on whose door this person had, this entity or whatever it was, had banged his door. He was feeling very low. And Swami said, Master, will you please talk to him? And Swami said, Master simply said, well, Satan is testing him, and Satan is testing the organization. Many heads will roll. And he said he has been already testing, and so many people have left. And Swami said, is that what's happening? Master said, yes. And at that time, Swami, there was this period of silence, and Swami said, Master, even if I didn't know what to do, I wouldn't leave. I just wouldn't know what else to do. And Master patted him on the back and he says, that's the way. That's the spirit. That if you leave any window open, that's the window through which, it comes from within our own mind. It comes from an outside influence. It can come through a person. It can come through anything. But on the other hand, if you say, no, God created everything, I'm a part of God, I'm a child of God. If even one saint has found him and found joy, I want to explore it more and more deeply. And Master says, then you come out of it. Once you're out of it, you say, oh, only God exists. But when he created things, there had to be light and there had to be darkness. So Master says, don't focus on the dark. No, it is existing, but don't focus on it and channel in your daily life more and more light. Om Guru. Let's take a moment to take these thoughts within, to see in our daily lives through meditation, service, devotion, the bringing in of the light of the saints, of the masters, clarity of mind, inner guidance, protection, inner freedom, and to live in that state of consciousness. Om Shanti, Shanti. I'll invite Amit now to please do us a chant, and let's all stand up, friends. We will join in Aarti, and I request Dhyanaji to please join us all to offer a blessing to all devotees.
Shri Guru Deva Om, Shri Guru Deva Amen. Shri Guru Deva Om, Shri Guru Deva Om, Shri Guru Deva Om, Shri Guru Deva Amen.
Come one by one, if you feel so inspired, either Bhutanaji or myself, to receive a touch of light. We are serving as instruments on behalf of the Masters.
Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song.
Let us now raise our arms, channeling the holy vibration of Om, send the blessings out into the world. Om. Divine Mother, Heavenly Father, beloved Masters, Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Lahiri Mahashai, Swami Sri Yukteswar Ji, beloved Master, saints of all religions, dearest Swamiji, we thank you again and again for your love and grace, your blessings and guidance. Keep us ever in tune with Thee and use us as instruments to share your inspiration, your blessings and gifts with all your children. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Now, friends, we have a special announcement that maybe I'll make then. Please be seated. And in a few minutes, couple minutes, we'll go out and you'll see this. Nayaswami Jyotishji, who is the Dharmacharya of Ananda worldwide, every year we meet in our Global Center Leaders Retreat at Ananda Village in California. Of course, Jyotish and Devi ji come every year to India. They travel every year around the world, as Swami used to do in America and then Italy and India. So Jyotish ji had this beautiful inspiration that, we have like the master had this office, Sangha office, or Swamiji at Ananda Village, we have Sangha office, where worldwide ministry, outreach, many things happen. People work every day, they show up for work. Similarly, because there are books, there's languages, in different languages, teachings have to go out, traveling, so many things. All the work that goes into, you might say, running the work, expanding the teachings, expanding Master's light in this world. Similarly, Jyotishji suggested that, we form a team like that. And over the last year or two, we've been meeting online, we meet in person, but now this evening we are giving it a formal location, a place. Right here outside, you'll see we will have the Sangha office where already people from Singapore, Malaysia, Russia, China, New Zealand are wanting to come, other centers in India, and there'll be many aspects of our work represented over there. The Hindi Sangha, the English outreach, Marathi ministry, publications, pan-India outreach, fundraising, education, many, many aspects of the work will be represented. Courses on leadership and meditation groups, centers, communities. So it's a wonderful step, and many others will be coming to Pune. Bharat and Shamini will be coming to Pune from Chandigarh. Alok said this morning he'll be coming more often from Kolkata. Many more videos, recordings, courses in different languages, English, Hindi, Bengali, Marathi will be done over here. So basically, I'm asking for your blessings. Dhyanaji also, as you know, now stays in Pune. So this is a wonderful period of Master's mission and work where just as outside, the forces of darkness are challenging the world. I don't have to give any introduction on that. Similarly, I ask for your prayers and blessings on a daily basis on our team, on this place, and on many others who will be coming together to serve over here. So I ask Dhanaji now. Yes, please.
I just had the thought that Swamiji lived here in Pune, and Swami Kriyanandaji, and he always saw Pune as the hub for our work here in India, Pan-India work. And he wanted us to have a center here, and he wanted us to have education for life, and all the things Aditya has said. He saw it in Pune. And so I think Master chose Pune for this, and through Swamiji. And Pune is very welcoming. It's dynamic. You're going to see a lot of acharyas coming here and some various leaders of the Sangha. Jyotish and Devi ji will be spending more time here. I'll be spending more time here. So you should see Pune as the hub of our pan-India work and our international work. I mean, as he named all those places, now India is the umbrella work over Singapore and Malaysia and Russia and China and Japan and South Africa and Dubai, and it goes on and on. So we're not just serving Pune now. I think Pune needs to help us to serve beyond Pune. So we'll be asking you all to help. It's not just it's a nice office. We're asking for your prayers and we're asking for your help. Alok is in charge of the Hindi Sangha. We have many. We have the yoga, Ananda Yogas represented here as one of the departments with Anandita and Amit. We're going to have the music ministry is going to be based here. Many various publications is already here. Vasudeva will be coming down. He's one of the leaders of Ananda India. He'll be spending time every month here. Prem Das from Hyderabad, he's doing the promotions and a variety of 10 different jobs. He'll be spending time here. So you're going to see a lot of us here because this is the hub for Ananda Pan India now, not just Pune. So I hope you all are open to that and happy about that and will be helping us to make a reality of going beyond Pune all around India and really around the world. And I'll close with this, that Swami Kriyanandaji said that India's work will be larger than all of the rest of Ananda's work worldwide, that India would be bigger. So we need a place to be able to do that. We need all hands on deck. We need to move forward. We need to be positive, energetic, enthusiastic, awake, and ready because we're just getting started. And so I hope you all will join us in prayer, join us in seva, coming to programs, satsangs like this, coming to kirtans. I know there was a 6 to midnight program. Was it yesterday? Holy wonderful. So anyway, day before. So please join us. It's a glorious time for Master's work in India and around the world. And we all are a part of it. Not only a part, we're helping to make our Guru's name and his work known in the country of his birth. That's very, very, very good karma. So I ask you to join us. God bless you all. And please join us for the blessing in our office now.